Hi everyone, this is Christopher Dunaway here and welcome back to a brand new video. So before I get this video started, I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. This is going to be a follow-up video to a video I posted not that long ago called How I Started Performing, and if you haven't checked that video out, I highly suggest you should. Context is a thing. So if you haven't, please check out that previous video first before you watch this one, because if you watch this one, you're going to be very lost. I do have a few announcements to make before I get started with this video. I submitted my Cirque du Soleil audition application. Yay! I am like so happy that I was able to submit that application because oh boy, this has been a long dream of mine. Here's hoping I get called back for the audition. Not only that, there's a few more performances coming up with the Ashes. Our next performance is going to be Pride in the Park in Elkins, West Virginia. So let me go check when that is. That is going to be on June 24th. Y'all hear that? June 24th. So if you haven't I cannot talk. If you haven't marked your calendars, June 24th, Out of the Ashes, Pride in the Park. You get the idea. Not only that, but I also made a Patreon account. So if you want to support me as an artist, you can always check out my Patreon. I'm going to make a Discord server so that way we can all communicate as a little community so we can always keep in touch. Well then, let's spill some tea. Thank you. So as for my first performance, like ever, I performed for my high school talent show during my senior year, and I performed to the song Jar of Hearts. And fun fact, that act took me 3 days to make. After I performed for the first time, it was such an amazing feeling. I was so happy, and by the end of the performance, I was like crying. I was like, finally, for the first time in forever, I can finally show how much I've worked for this. So after the school talent show, my theater and choir teacher, Mr. Smallridge, he actually submitted my video to a art showcase audition, and the art showcase in particular was called Arts Alive, and it was for Arts Alive 2022. One day I went to choir class, just, you know, it's choir. I was just tired. I was like I was going through quite a bit of stuff, and I was just not happy. Things were a bit rough for me. But then my theater teacher took me aside and was like, hey, yeah, they accepted you for Arts Alive. And I was like, oh my gosh, no way, really? And he was like, really? So I was super excited. I performed for Arts Alive, and that was probably the most nervous I've ever been in my life. If you take a look back at the video where I did the performance, I look super serious, but in my head, I was like freaking out. Also at the same time, I was living my best life. Sometime after Arts Alive, a little circus show came to town called Lewis and Clark Circus. It's actually coming down to my hometown in a bit soon, so I'm really happy to see them. After Arts Alive, they actually came down to West Virginia. I actually went to go see one of the shows, and during the show, my mother was talking to the boss or the owner of that show and was basically telling him about me and how I've been wanting to work for a circus show for a while and wanted to get started. We got right down to business after the show. They had me stay after the show, and I got to meet the lovely and the most slaying ringmaster ever, Skittle. If you don't know who Skittle is, please check her out. She is absolutely amazing. She's an amazing aerialist, and I still talk to her frequently. She helped me get in touch with the owner and the boss and gave me a recommendation for me to join them on their tour. At that time, the sound and lights worker had left, so they needed somebody ASAP. So Skittle texted me saying, hey, we need somebody like now. Before you know it, I packed my bags and I was on the road with Lewis and Clark Circus. Sadly, I wasn't able to perform, but I was able to learn how the circus works, you know, with setting up the tent, how the lights and sound works, how basically how everything is done. It was a really great learning experience, and I really do miss working with them. They're like this really awesome like group of people and like family. So while I was on tour with Lewis and Clark Circus, I was able to perform for a little bit, but not officially. So it was kind of funny. During the show, there is this juggling act that Will performs. Will is the juggler for Lewis and Clark. And at the very end, he breathes out fire, which is really, really badass. I'm just gonna say that right now. It's really cool. But when he spits out the fire, he like spits out so much and the floor becomes like very, very, very slippery. Like, have you seen like those cartoons where like a cartoon character slips on a banana peel and just falls on their behind? Yeah, it's like that. So my job was to clean up the stage after Will was done with the performance, and sometimes it was a little bit awkward because I would just be out there with my little broom slash mop, and like it was during intermission, so I would just be up there and it would just be music playing in the background and people just looking at me like, wow. And like I didn't know what to do, so I was like, what am I mean, like, of course I had to clean up the stage, but like I was like, this is really bad. I was giving SpongeBob with the mop. You know that scene with SpongeBob with the mop? I was giving SpongeBob. After a while, I decided, I was like, wait, I can do something here. I can make this work for me. I did like a little contortion skit during intermission just to keep the audience, entertained and occupied, like while they're waiting, so they're not just waiting, they're bored. The people loved it. Afterwards, I talked to the boss. I'm like, hey, so I'm doing this thing and I don't know how you feel about it, but I just want to run it by you because, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I just kind of did it on the spot. And he saw what I was doing and he was like, you know what, go for it. So I was like, yeah, I can do this. I continued working with them throughout the season, and after it was over, I went back home to look for other circus opportunities. I did find another circus. I'm not gonna say the name of the circus because let's just say it did not work out the way that I hoped. I'm just gonna leave it at that. I'm just not gonna talk about that because if you want to know what happened, then I did make a TikTok video discussing what happened. So I'm not gonna say any names because I want to keep the privacy, and that's just being professional. I'm not gonna spread about what happened. It happened. Now I'm here. I'm making new content. It was a learning experience. You can't really learn without falling onto the ground at some point, and I fell onto the ground. It was pretty rough, but I don't want to be spiteful. I don't want to like talk trash about the show because the show was pretty good for what it was worth. This is important to mention. While I was with Lewis and Clark Circus, I got in contact with Out of the Ashes Fire and Flow Arts. I've mentioned them in my previous videos, and if you haven't checked them out, please, they're very awesome. Thank you. My lovely mother had given me their contact information to see, to check them out and see what I thought. This group looked really, really cool. I was like, wow, this group looks awesome. So I contacted them. Apparently the main boss slash owner of the group, Betty, she had already seen a lot of my work and was interested to have me like right then and there. So after I got back home, I immediately started performing at the parades and little small events. And I'm not gonna lie to you, when I first started working with fire, I was nervous. As of right now, I'm still performing with them, and I'm very grateful for them because I treat them like if they were my family. Mostly because, they greeted me with open arms when I needed it the most. We really support each other throughout everything we do. We just have fun out there. I'm very grateful for them. So yeah, that's about it for this video today. I am still performing and working on new projects, and I'm probably not going to come out with a new video until a little bit later because I don't really have a lot of stuff planned as of recently, but it's going to be more in the future. So please be patient with me. I'm still new to this, and yeah, I hope to see y'all soon. Bye. Make sure to